We're going to jump right back in. I know that was really awkward for everybody who is watching us live, but we're just going to make the cuts for the people who are listening to us on playback, and we will make it work. But we have a lot more comments right here on Alabama's big beat down over LSU. Alabama beats LSU 42-13 down on the Bayou, surprises us all, and looks like the best team in the nation doing it. So absolutely unbelievable performance. We already have talked about Alabama's offense. We've already talked about Alabama's defense. You can hear that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, YouTube. You can find that on wherever you find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We're going to jump right into part number 2 by talking about special teams and talking about Brian Kelly. We'll talk about Jake Pope and Kirby Smart just a little bit. We'll talk about where Alabama is in the grand scheme of things, the landscape of college football. Did we see the best team in America in Baton Rouge this past weekend? I think you might have. And everybody's going to be trembling to see Alabama at a 5, 6, 7, 8 seed. So we'll talk about that as well right here on part number 2, and we'll finish up with Alabama basketball. Before we jump all the way into part number 2, we'll tell you about our friends Derek Daniel and State Farm Insurance. We are live here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You can check us out right here off McFarland Boulevard, just past the Tiger Rock to the left on Highway 69 North. You can call them at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. As always, we're joined by my friend Mason Woods right here on part number 2. Follow Mason Woods at MA_Woods. Mason, we're pulling you double duty today, and I want to thank you for it. You excited for part 2 here?
Oh, yeah. There's still a lot to unpack with this game, especially with and maybe what transpired post-game in not only the Alabama-LSU verse, but the college football verse as a whole. And I'm very, very excited to get into this Alabama basketball game.
All right, we need to get into special teams to wrap up kind of what happened on the field. And really, from a special team standpoint, the only negative in the game, except for James Burnett, and it's been that way all season long. You have James Burnett with another strong game, bombing punts away to LSU. Let's see, where's my James Burnett numbers? That's away. I need away numbers. I don't want to look at home numbers. Okay, punts. James Burnett, 2 punts, 91 yards, dropped one inside the 20, both of them inside the 20, and one of them was 50 yards. One comes off. One I want to talk about specifically, a special team scenario that I want to talk about specifically. You give up a big return before we get into that scenario. You give up a big return to open right after Alabama's first touchdown, basically the first kickoff return. LSU gets out to the 50. And so, really, you put your defense that had a great day in a bad spot right off the bat with a bad kick coverage. Okay, LSU's got some good athletes. But in general, I have been underwhelmed by Alabama special teams. Okay, I can live with it because you haven't had anything detrimental. You haven't had a punt blocked. You haven't had a kickoff return for a touchdown or a punt return for a touchdown. You almost gave one up. I mean, that LSU young man nearly got you. Connor Talty diving out, just kind of making him take a longer angle, allowed people to get to him. Give you credit for that. But I want to talk about this scenario in the second quarter. Mason, what did we do with Katie Wyndham on Friday? We did a lot on Football Friday, but we played gun to your head in one scenario.
Okay.
With kicker, right? We've proposed the scenario. If you didn't listen on Friday, we proposed a 10-10 game. It wasn't 10-10. It was 14-3.
It was a little different,
right? 14-3. It's 10-10. I said it's 10-10. You got 49 yards from. I said that. I think I said the right hash, but the hash didn't matter. One of the hashes. Does Graham Nicholson make or miss? Katie and I said miss. Ever the optimist, Mason Wood said make. I appreciate you for being the optimist. But there you are on the 34-yard line. You're up 14-3. Your defense has played well. You just missed a deep shot to Emmanuel Henderson after a penalty for Danny Lewis. So kind of things just got a little disjointed. And you send Graham Nicholson out for not a 49-yarder, but a 51-yarder in the rain. In the rain. Like, granted, this is the series that Ryan Williams gets the pass. He could have caught it, but it is pouring rain. 51-yarder in the rain. Now, you don't make it. If you don't make it, you got to remember, they get the ball, correct me, Mason, not at the line of scrimmage, but at the point of the spot, right? I'm pretty sure they get the ball at the point of the spot. Oh yeah.
Weird
He sent Nicholson
decision.
out there, and instead, praise the Lord for for a delay of game penalty, because the delay of game penalty causes you to move 5 yards back, and I don't know why you have a delay game penalty. If you're going to kick a field goal, like you're going to kick a field goal, go send them out there.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about it? Is that what it takes? Are you just thinking? Are you trying to draw them off sides? I mean, it's 4th and 8. You're not going to draw them off sides and get a first down. What are we doing here? No matter. You get the penalty. DeBoer turns, and I think might have dropped his first curse word in his life, because allegedly he does not curse, but he absolutely said a 4-letter word. It might have been freak. It might have been that. I mean, maybe he softened it, but it was an expletive at Jay Nunez, and they sent James Burnip out to save the day, to punt. Now, granted, okay. What makes this even worse or funnier or just more ironic or more silly is Nicholson goes through with the kick, Mason. He gets the snap, he gets the kick, and it is a horrific kick. It wasn't even close. Now, the rain, you say yes, big factor. Maybe whistles were blowing the play dead because delay of game movement. Everybody's, protections working. So, yeah, distractions. It's not a clean operation. It's not a clean kick. But he missed the heck out of it. And so it wasn't close. And so I'm thinking, Coach, what are you doing here? You got best punter in America, maybe top. Okay, you want to say
you
Joe?
have a guy, a punter that could legitimately be an NFL draft pick, and that's all you have to say about the guy.
Okay, you could say, Joe, you're biased. He's not the best punter in America. Fine. He's a top 5 punter in America. You have a great punter who you played really good defense so far. Unbelievable. I mean, the punt ends up getting down on the 10-yard line. It hits on like the 6 or the 7, and it takes a backspin bounce. And okay, if you caught it right there, it would have been even better. But the bounce at the 10, great. You're on the you have flipped the field. You have pinned LSU. So it ultimately worked out. But don't let your greed 51 yards for a young man who's barely kicked all year because of opportunity. Your offense has been good, but
what do you think? What does his week look like?
Practice.
Is he going out there? Does he kick 3 or 4 field goals, then walks inside and sits in the ice tub for an hour?
No.
Come on.
They've got the third field for the kickers over there. They're kicking all day.
Nobody's monitoring him.
Jay Nunez is.
It's him and Neil and Hibbert out there hitting like chip shots with a pitching wedge or something.
That may be true. a little bit of that going on for sure. But Jay Nunez is out there. They're watching. Oh, they're watching each other snap. They're watching each other. I just drop the punt. They're getting tips from James Burnip.
Yeah,
is what it is.
That's what it is. I just wonder if this is it.
Take this away, because I'm going to lose my mind.
Is this an example of maybe Kalen DeBoer just not quite having the pulse on what his special teams is capable of? Is it him getting a little greedy, trying to get points in a situation where, they're still relatively early in the game, and I guess, it's only 14-3. You want to try to get as many points as you can. You're in a tough environment. You don't want to leave any points on the board if you can help it. I get that. It's 51 yards in the rain, and you have a chance to just – this is that offense that you just held. I get they got the long run that got them down in the red zone, but you held them to the field goal inside the red zone.
Do you like your defensive plan? Do you like what you're walking in with Womack, Darth Vader? You believe in it?
Go pin them inside the 5 and get you your safety.
Get your pick 6.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I would rather it be greed than it be him just not quite understanding what his guys are doing in special teams or in the kicker room. But yeah, I understand that the general kind of rule of thumb is you never leave points on the board. This is the time you maybe tried to go get more points by leaving a few more points on the board.
Saved by the penalty.
Yeah, it's a questionable decision at best, I think.
All right, so let's play this game back on Friday again. I said miss at 49 yards. Yeah. Let's play how close do you have to be to risk your life on a Graham Nicholson kick?
Risk my life?
Is it?
I got to go 35 and in.
Oh, so that's where you have reverted back to the Alabama anxiety over kicking, and that's okay. That's what happens. That's part of it.
Yeah,
but you got to understand that, and you got a punter who is I'm just waiting to do my job, mate. Just waiting to do my job. Just call. Yeah, it makes me like he's not. I don't think he's nearly as crazy as the guy from The Replacements. The kicker who is British, right, or was he Australian? I think it was British.
Yeah.
But James Burnham, our Australian,
James Bennett. The Aussie leg.
Just kick him out there. Let him drop it on the 5 and just move on.
Yeah, man. Just for fans, give us more James Burnett. He would be a fan favorite if you put him out on the field more.
Best player, but might be the best player on the team.
Let him do some, let him do one of the fun little hitting a shot celebrations. He watches his punt go down to the 1.
Oh gosh. All right. So other than that, Ryan Williams had a nice little punt return.
Hey, I like that. I don't love seeing him out there, but I like what he did when he was out there.
You got to stick. I mean,
Cole
Adams. He's on the shelf. You got to stick someone out there.
I don't really know. Other than I don't know who I'd put out there, so I'm all right.
It's Kendrick Law, it's James Burnett, or it's Jalen Mbakwe. That's your option right
Henderson
now.
Out there. I feel like he could do it.
Probably could, but
and he, I don't. This is gonna sound mean, but he feels a little more expendable maybe than Ryan Williams.
Can't play scared though. Got to go for it. Got to sit. Put your best players out there.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm sure I doubt Ryan Williams was saying like, "Coach, I don't want to go out there."
I'm sure he was begging
all
the
to
touches.
get. He's
probably
in Coach's ear since the beginning of the season. Oh, let me take one, Coach. Let me get one.
Funds. That's all he needs. A little spacing to go. A little open field.
Maybe we'll see that the rest of the season moving forward. Maybe I think if we do see that the rest of the season moving forward, he's gonna break one
eventually. I think
the next,
so as well.
2-3 games, he'll break one.
Yeah, he need to not punt to that kid. That's a bad move. That's a bad move. All right, any other special teams thoughts? Because that kicker thing really got under my skin. Because that was you didn't make a lot of
that was prime Burnett territory.
Right,
you took it from him.
You didn't make a lot of bad decisions on Saturday night, but I think that was a bad decision.
Yeah,
and please come and tell me I'm wrong at Joe Gay through 6, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I got no problems. We briefly touched on the one bomb that Burnett had, that one like 63, 62-yard punt, whatever it was, and I think that was awesome. It was, I think I texted you about it. Like he's just got a cannon for a leg.
So let's move to Brian Kelly.
Ooh!
Before we move to Brian Kelly, I'm just going to give you a little brief. Purple Turtle Roofing. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Mississippi and Alabama. You can call them today for your free roof inspection. 877-PT-ROOF-5, 877-787-6635. I really appreciate Dustin Foley and his team sponsoring the program. Purple Turtle Roofing. We really appreciate them. Call them today for all your roof needs. Haven't had a lot of rain, but we will have it. And you're going to want to prepare for the spring by calling Purple Turtle Roofing. This is part 2 of Alabama versus LSU recap. We've already talked about the offense and defense on part 1. We're done with the special teams. Let me talk about
the elephant in the room.
Let's see. Make sure this plays for you.
No, I mean, those guys kept fighting, kept playing. You saw we scored with, 11 seconds to go? I think that's probably a pretty good indication. They blitzed 7 against us with 22 seconds to go. They didn't quit. We didn't quit. We kept playing. We didn't look at the scoreboard. They didn't obviously look at the scoreboard. They didn't want us to score.
That played right. Good. All right. Perfect. Brian, they're blitzing 7. They're sitting at 7. They sit at 7 with 22 seconds left. BK, all right, first, you got your butt kicked. You weren't ready for the game. And listen, after the Texas A&M game, you knew what was coming, saying, I think I'd run the quarterback against us too. You had 2 weeks to fix it. You didn't. You suck. You're terrible. All right. Well, let's just think about this. You go into the media. And the media asked, the question was, do you think you quit? Do you think your team quit? And so he says, he goes, oh, no, we didn't quit. They didn't quit. They blitzed 7 against us with 22 seconds left. Well, Brian, first off, you've got your first team offense in there against backups. Alabama's already thrown their backups in. Richard Young, Ty Simpson's been playing, right? Look, if you're going to keep playing Garrett Nussmeier, if you're going to keep playing Kyron Lacey, then it's a real you're asking to get blitzed. The game plan is the game plan from the start to the finish. Kane Womack, the game plan is we're putting 4, 5, 6, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. We're sometimes going to send 8. We're sometimes going to send 5. And so why the heck would the game plan change on the last drive of the game? What has the backups been preparing for all week? What have the twos been doing all week? The twos have been running the game plan. The twos have been running 5 up on the line of scrimmage, 6 up on the line of scrimmage. So why the heck would you put them in there and just say, hey, guys, we're going to go be vanilla. Just go run cover 2. Just cover 2, guys. It's cool. It's the end of the game. It's just cover 2. No, they've been working on the dadgum game plan all week long, Brian Kelly.
And they're out there trying to make a name for themselves and earn more playing time next week. That's the hungriest group of guys on the field. It's such a weird complaint from a football coach.
Now, that's not the first time he made the complaint. He's hollering at the official at the end of the game.
Yeah.
They're sending bleeping 8. They're sending bleeping 8 players. They're sending 8.
Take that back up to Notre Dame. Take that back to Cincinnati. Get out of the SEC with that.
If you want Alabama to not send 8, what you do is you get in the I formation, run ISO, or take a knee. Just take a knee and punt the ball back.
It seemed like for a second there, and I really, after I saw Garrett Nussmeier get up about the second time from being knocked down after a pass, and he was limping a bit, I thought we're about to get like a Mettenberger-esque moment where they just keep trying and he just keeps getting killed, and it almost happened. And it was Brian Kelly's fault. If I was Garrett Nussmeier, I would be so pissed at that coach for doing. You just sent him out there to get killed for no reason. You have 3 games left the rest of the year. What are you doing? For your pride? You wanted to get an extra touchdown to really stick it to Kalen DeBoer. Shut up, Brian Kelly. I'm so
even if
I'm
you
so
scored
sick
13,
of him.
let's just say you scored 20, 21. You lost 42-21. It doesn't matter.
That play meant nothing. Getting a touchdown means nothing. Your team is still just as demoralized now as they were before that touchdown. That does nothing.
It goes on Kyron Lacey's draft tape. That's all it does.
Exactly.
That's the only thing. He goes on his highlight tape.
It's ridiculous. It is. These are not.
One more from Brian Kelly.
This is still college football. These are not professional athletes. We've made that distinction clear up to this point. Your people, Brian Kelly, have made that distinction clear up to this point. So let's treat them as such. Let's not just send them out there to lay their bodies out there for this school, for a bunch of kids who have already left the stadium at this point. There's nobody in there to even watch them. What are you doing? His seat is hot today. It's going to get hotter as the rest of the year goes on. We'll see what happens this offseason, but I'll be ready to get rid of Brian Kelly.
In the third quarter, LSU gets a stop and a sack on Jalen Milroe. Congratulations. They're probably their only sack of the game, but it's not recorded as a sack because you get your flag. And, okay, granted, that's favorable to Alabama. And it was, a little lucky for Alabama, but it was a face mask. He grabs Jalen Milroe's face mask, got a little tug, got a little turn.
Yeah, lucky is,
it's lucky, but it's
lucky from
a
standpoint of the timing of it.
Right.
Not lucky from you got lucky and that one slipped by the referees.
Right. And Brian Kelly, he didn't.
So we had 2 holding penalties, right? I think we all would agree that holding penalties almost become what did I see or what I did not see that play. The face mask penalty, was it a face mask? I don't know. Okay, so you were there, you saw it, you were on the field. Did you get the instant replay? Replay. Ripped his head off? No.
It was by rule. It was
By rule, he grabbed his face mask and jerked his helmet inside out.
He didn't jerk it, but he did grab it.
He grabbed it. Okay, good. Glad we get that confirmation. And then,
I'm sure he'll be fine back on solid foods.
yeah. Anyway, look, I think the only one that I was a little upset with was maybe the late push with Swinson, but it's like anything else, right? The other guy was giving him the business, and he was the last one to get caught.
Oh, you were there? You saw it? Yes, coach.
Yes,
With a
we
big,
all saw it.
with a big screen TV,
You idiot.
and replay where the frame rate is going second by second
he
by second.
really thought like, oh, I got him. Yeah, he really thought he did something.
You were
there.
on the field, no, coach, but I'm in the building, and
No,
they
I'm
got
watching it in
TVs.
4K. Oh, what an idiot!
Well, I'm glad we got that sorted out. I'm
Golly.
glad we did too. It was a good call. Your guy grabbed Jalen Miller's face mask. No, he didn't rip his head off. He didn't rip the helmet off. But like, yeah, learn the
They even
rules,
said
coach.
it on the broadcast. You grab any part of the helmet, here, back, side, up, down. That's a face mask. You cannot do that. Brian Kelly, that's against the rules of football. You can't do that.
So, all right, I'm
Man,
with
he
you.
thought he got him.
I'm with
Oh,
you.
you were there. You were there. You were on the field. Shut up, Brian Kelly. No.
His buyout is huge.
Millions of people watched it across America, and we saw you look like an idiot on TV.
His buyout is huge, but I think that the seat is getting warm on the Bayou. Now, I mean, you beat Alabama 2 years ago, but you got shellacked the last 2 years. Jalen Milroe in this game makes history, right?
$60 million.
Yeah, it's huge. $60 million, right? Jalen Milroe in this game makes Alabama history. Did you see it? Becomes the second player in Alabama history to record 2 different games with 4 rushing touchdowns or more. So who does he join? Do you know? Did you see it?
I didn't.
Joins one Sean Alexander.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Alexander and Jalen Milroe are the only 2 players with multiple 4 rushing touchdown
Pretty
games.
elite company.
And Jalen Milroe's both 4 rushing touchdown games came against the LSU Tigers. 4 last year, 4 this year. Brian Kelly. I know. Look, Ty Simpson, you look great, but hopefully next year you're gonna get your wheels on against the LSU Tigers, right?
I sure hope so. Because Julia, the one opportunity I had this game, boy, that was not your best look, Ty Simpson.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll cut you a little slack though. You got in there, they probably just tossed you out there and told you to go figure it out. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
So last week on the All Things Bama podcast, and make sure you check out the All Things Bama podcast. Mason Woods leading it. We're doing it weekly. Mason Woods talked about a chaos theory that put a massive tie, massive tie together for the SEC championship.
7-way.
After this weekend, the Alabama Crimson Tide might back its way into Atlanta. I hope you didn't sell your tickets yet.
We are very much
Because
alive.
you go to Oklahoma and win, you beat the brakes off Auburn, a couple of things go your way, and you are in Atlanta. How about Ole Miss? The lane train going right through
Man.
Georgia. Georgia gets an opening drive touchdown or an early touchdown, and then Ole Miss basically says no more and beats them, 28-10. They scored late, 28-10 to upset the Georgia Bulldogs and further chaos in the SEC.
And storm the field, rip down the goalposts, a top 10 versus top 10 matchup. That was sad.
Well, Ole Miss doesn't know who they are.
That was sad.
Shame
on you,
They
Ole
still
Miss.
think they're small time.
Boo-hoo. That was bad. But yeah, we talked about it on the show. We still have a major hurdle to cross. Auburn has to beat Texas A&M for this 7-way tie to present itself. So that's going to be tough, but it's doable. Ole Miss beat Georgia. That we needed that one. Alabama's got to win out. We can do that. Missouri, they can win out. They did it. They beat Oklahoma. Texas A&M, Texas. Final week of the season. That'll be a 1-loss and a 2-loss team playing. That'll be I need the win from Texas or the win from Texas A&M over Texas to put Texas at 2 losses, and there we are. That's all we need. It is right there within reach. I mean, it's not. It doesn't. Now that Ole Miss has beat Georgia, it no longer feels like just this fever dream that that's not going to happen. It feels very
Even if it's
real.
not a 7-way tie, you still have a big old tie, and Alabama can get in.
Absolutely, especially because yes, even without the Auburn over Texas A&M win, we are still looking at I think 5 or 6 2-loss teams potentially at the end of the season tied for that number 2 spot in the SEC.
So what about our boy Jake Pope?
Wow, Jake Pope, what are we doing?
Jake,
Go Rebels!
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the heck are you?
Whew.
You look. I know
Hey, it's just some
it's
old
a former
friends.
teammate. I get it. Look, and I'm I'm not going to be the one
that ran up to him.
Look, I'm not going to be the one that throws it. It is a bad look, but I'm not going to pile on.
You just got to.
It's a former Buford High School teammate, right?
Okay.
And I think it's a longtime family mother friend who sneaks up on him, who comes to the game or something. Jake already goes out there and apologizes for a bad look. But Kirby Smart, look, here's your big difference. Kalen DeBoer would be taking that bullet and be, oh, well, we'll talk to him. Would be taking that bullet. Kirby Smart says, oh, what an idiot.
Kirby Smart takes the Hugh Freeze approach and just throws the player directly under the bus.
Under the bus that his team, that was bad.
That's a very, very strange response from a coach. If I was a parent of a recruit, 16, 17, 18-year-old in high school, I would genuinely be having some not necessarily second thoughts, maybe, but I would see that video and think, what kind of person is Kirby Smart?
I don't know. That was definitely rough. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just for anyone that didn't see it, I mean, he quite literally got up in front of the podium. Someone asked him about Jake Pope, and he says, "What an idiot! Just a moron." I mean, I don't know I don't know when I ever heard Nick Saban call any of his players directly by name idiots or morons.
Did he ever say that about any player that's been arrested this past offseason?
Maybe.
No, Kirby. Did Kirby
Kirby actually.
Did Kirby ever get up on the podium and said, "Oh, player X who got arrested for driving violation is an idiot"?
No, he did not.
Player Y who got arrested for driving violation was a dummy.
Player A, player B, player C, player D. You can probably go through the whole alphabet.
Unfortunate look.
Kirby.
Unfortunate look.
Pick your battles.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know it's a bad look for Jake Pope.
Sure.
It is. It definitely is.
Does not warrant this. You do not have to publicly ream this player because he danced around with his family and friends.
Anything else stand out for the college football weekend? Really, I was locked into just Alabama-LSU. I played a lot of NCAA football. I bought me a PS5, and I played a lot of NCAA football this past weekend.
Sounds like a good
I'm
weekend.
like 12-5 online, 12-8 online. So doing pretty good.
I do want to, as we're kind of talking about this chaos scenario thing, I do want to just mention and this has been kind of tossed around since the LSU games this weekend kind of wrapped up, just the comparison of the resume of the SEC title contenders this year. We're looking at Texas 8-1, lost to Georgia.
Sure.
0 wins against current AP top 25 teams. We're looking at Tennessee.
That's what people don't understand.
Loses to Arkansas. 1 win against an AP top 25. Alabama 3 wins against the AP top 25.
No, I think it's 4 now. South Carolina's in.
Yes, no, you're right. Yeah, because South Carolina is in. So yeah, 4 wins against AP top 25.
The most of anyone, and that's what people do not understand. Joe, you lost to Alabama, lost to Vanderbilt, and like, yeah, but you got a schedule that's loaded up, and Alabama's still getting good wins. Oh, Vanderbilt! Oh, you lost.
So Alabama has the most wins versus the current top 25 teams by a wide margin. They have 4 to everyone else's 2 or less.
That's it's all going to iron out in the water. They're going to be mad in the end when Alabama's up to 5 or 6.
What if
they're up to 1? I mean, shoot, you win.
You win the SEC.
Win the SEC title, you're a 1. Even with 2 losses, they're going to say, "Oh, you lost to Vanderbilt." But if you lose if your last loss is to Vanderbilt and you're wrecking shop where you beat South Carolina, you shut out Missouri, you beat the brakes off of LSU, you go out to Norman and you beat the brakes off of them, you beat the brakes off of Auburn, and then you roll into that SEC title game against Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia, whoever the heck it might be, and you roll them as well. Like, I'm sorry, it's undeniable at this point. You've gone from 11, you're going to 15 to 11 to 9. Like, you keep rolling, you're not going to be talking about getting in or leaving them out. Man. You're going to be talking about hosting a first-round game. Welcome to Tuscaloosa, December 20th, BYU or whoever the heck.
Book your hotel rooms now.
Book your Boise State, Aston Genty. You want to come test your metal? Whoever that might be. And so
the rest of the season is right there for the taking.
Absolutely. let's finish up with Alabama basketball because we actually have to get out of here for Alabama's game against Murray State.
Sure do.
Before we do, I need to tell you about our friends. I did the Purple Turtle already for part 2. I need to tell you about Derek Daniel at State Farm. We're in the Derek Daniel State Farm studios just off McFarland Boulevard, and he is actually walking around outside. I think he's packing up a room next to us. So you can call Derek today at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Home, life, auto insurance. Derek can take care of you. He's got a great team. Red, Reese, and Victoria will be happy to talk all insurance needs with you. You need renters insurance. You need boaters insurance. Get ahead of yourself for next summer with that. Call Derek and his team today, 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. All right. That's enough football. We'll get back to football tomorrow. Oops. Alabama basketball is 2-0, moves on to a game against McNeese State tonight. I will be working it, so I cannot be cheating. Yes, I cannot be chanting FBI, FBI, cheat to win, strong ass offer at Will Wade. I hope and I expect the Crimson Chaos crew to do their part, and I think that they will.
I think they will too. I have faith. Just given the Twitter timeline I've seen today.
Oh my gosh, I had to talk about this on Friday.
A lot of people have been bringing up the old, Cameron Luke Ratliff tweets and bringing them back up to the surface, talking about Will Wade, talking about his wiretaps, talking about his time at LSU. So I do think that it is fresh in Bama fans' memories, and maybe some of the ones who maybe weren't here for that have been exposed to it now.
Before I talk about the game, did you see that the Auburn people got me on Friday?
A little bit about the student section.
It wasn't even about the student section, about the whole crowd. But yeah. You get into the stadium at 40 minutes till, and there was no one in there. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a bad night. Against Arkansas State last year, it was a terrible night. It was a terrible crowd. The worst crowd in the world. And I'm thinking, it was easy parking. It was not a problem. This might be an issue on a Friday night. First off, I was wrong. It ended up being a great crowd. But it was not intent to garner reaction. It was not intent to farm interaction. I don't care about that. If you like my tweets, great. If you don't, great. Who cares? I tweet honestly for myself. If you follow me, I love you very much. But I mostly tweet for myself, and you can probably tell that scrolling through my timeline. It's very random. It's Alabama coverage. It's wrestling, WWE. It's Chicago Bears fandom. I tweet for myself. And what people say, I can say this on a podcast because it's not written. But what people don't understand about me is I like being in the media. But I wish that I was on the front row of Crimson Chaos with a hard hat on, screaming obscenities at Will Wade. The reason that the tweet goes out about, there's like 400 people in here, I'm worried about the crowd, and then at 8 minutes till I follow it up, there's a better crowd, but still not so hot. And then I follow it up at tip-off, everyone flooded in, really. And I follow up with more pictures of, wow, the crowd really filled in. The reason that I went that way, not interactions, it's because I really want every seat filled. Because really and truly, while I am writing and trying to keep my calm and in the media section, I am screaming Roll Tide, and I am yelling in my heart of hearts. And, we went to the first game. Mason and I went to the first game together, and I was still holding it back because I don't want somebody to see me in the wild looking like a fool. But if I'd had no media job, and if I were just a regular Joe Schmo, which I am, I would be buying my season tickets at every game, yelling Roll Tide, and getting fired up for this basketball team. It wasn't you're trying to shame the fan base, Joe, which a couple of people took it that way. That's not it. And honestly, really and truly, if you knew me, I might be the fan base because that's myself. And we all need to be in there tonight. And I expect there was 6 o'clock tip. You know what? I'm not going to tweet anything about the crowd because everybody's going to say, Joe, 6 o'clock's really tough to get to from Birmingham. And
boo-hoo.
Yeah, I get that. So at 5 minutes into the game, there will be a really good crowd because it will take some extra time to get in there. I will understand that. Look, it's the first year of having major traffic, major construction over there. It was hell parking the first night. That's why I thought, I'm scared because it was easy parking on Friday, and I wasn't there that much earlier. And so I thought, this is a bad sign. it was not a personal shot.
Yeah, I think people blew this up a
Oh,
little.
I know,
People
I
blew this
know,
out of
I know,
proportion.
and that's why mostly I
And
laughed
also,
at it.
look, this fan base kind of needs to be called out sometime.
Well-
they are super inconsistent, and they very regularly do not pack out Coleman Coliseum for basketball games.
And this year's going to be
I mean,
different, year in and
maybe.
year out.
I mean, but are we talking
Or
about
game in, game
you know,
out.
right here, folks? Anybody watching this? You've been to Coleman Coliseum. You've seen it nearly empty a lot. So don't get up on your high horse here when someone decides to mention that you don't come to the games, because a lot of the times you don't. I don't want to hear it. This is
Last year's Arkansas State was terrible.
Suck it up. Get to the damn game.
Oh, have you never been in a stadium 40 minutes till? Yes.
It's full a lot of the time.
On Monday, last Monday, it was full. And it was like, oh, sweet. This is great.
Yeah.
It's buzzing. And so, yeah, it wasn't like that on Friday.
Yeah,
and I was concerned.
Get off
just
your
from
high
from
horse
personal
and get into
standpoint,
Coleman Coliseum.
because I want Nate Oates to have a full house, because really and truly and secretly, I'm pulling for the Tide pretty much all the time in basketball. It's nice to cover a winner in every sport, but like in basketball, going to the Final Four last year, Mason, just being there, it moved me emotionally to be there. And yeah, Alabama didn't win, but like just to be, it was amazing. So yeah, it wasn't personal. All right, but to the game itself. Alabama didn't really play that well. 88-79,
Yeah.
you beat Brian Hodgson. You're going to give Arkansas State a lot of credit for fighting in the game.
Hey, they played
but you
hard.
didn't really play well defensively. I think you ended up giving up 1.1. Is that what I have? No, 0.97, 0.975 defensively. So a long way off your 0.75 against UNC Asheville. Not great. Really, look, you make your free throws at an even 10% higher clip.
Yeah.
You already won this game going away, but you didn't cover. I don't care about, you didn't score 100 points. I really just wasn't in love with the defensive output, and I wasn't in love with the free throw conversion. Those are the two big things for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are, I was not at the game, and it was on ESPN Plus, kept away from a lot of us. So I was kind of, I didn't get to watch the whole game. I kind of had to watch it in bits and pieces. But from what I saw, I don't disagree with your assessment. I think you're looking at the box score here. They were 63% from free throw. They only shot 19% from three. So yeah, they, say they, instead of going 6 for 31, say we're looking at a 12 for 31 performance. This is a blowout.
Right. And really, they played well defensively for the first 10 minutes or so, and like really well, and then it fell off, and Arkansas State started to come back, and then you came out of the locker room, and it was kind of back and forth. They ended up tying it 68 all, and then 5 minutes left. Alabama just that's what's going to be that's what's going to be annoying to me is exactly that. Flip the switch and said, we're going to stop you defensively now for the last 5 minutes, and our offense is going to be enough, and it was, and they rolled they kind of cruised to victory the last 5 minutes. I don't think it was anything to do with we want to take it easy on Coach Hodgson. Not it at all.
No.
I do think it was credit to Arkansas State, going to be a better team than we are thinking about today. That we're going to look back in 6 months, 4 or 5 months, whatever the season, 3, 4, 5 months, and think, wow, that was actually a pretty good win. Just wish the defensive intensity would have carried the whole 40 minutes, because I think the result would have been much more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm looking here again. The Arkansas State put up 79 points. They didn't shoot.
They didn't shoot great either.
No, they didn't shoot any better than Alabama did. So it kind of, that's should be your indicator there.
Fast game. I mean, Hodgson and Oates get together, you're gonna get up and down the floor.
Yeah, but that kind of shows you there that Bama didn't play the best defense. It's not like Arkansas State was shooting the cover off the ball or anything. They shot pretty bad and still kept it relatively close. Now, yes, it ended up being a 9-point win for Alabama because, like we just said in the last few minutes, you could kind of just see everybody decide, like, all right, let's lock in, let's finish the game. But that's not a place you really want to be. You want that for the full game. You don't want that for the first half, and then we're going to play with our food for the first 12 minutes of the second half, and then, all right, let's lock in here at the end.
All right, so Alabama keeps it going tonight against McNeese State. We're going to be checking out here to get out of there. Alabama 17.5-point favorite tonight at home. Cover or not? I'm going to say they bounce back and get a big like 24, 25-point win. 100-75.
Nate's going to be in that ass about the defense.
100-75. We'll just we'll call it nice and even. How about
that? All right, I'll roll with we'll break 100. Give me 105 to
69.
Yeah, do it. Let's do it. 105-69.
Nice. That's a nice score, and we will get out of here on that note. We hope to see you in Coleman Coliseum tonight on Tuesday. We will keep talking Alabama football as they prepare for Mercer just a little bit. We'll
big matchup this week.
Retouch on some LSU topics, and we will talk about tonight's basketball game against McNeese State and Will Wade. We want to thank Derek Daniel and State Farm for sponsoring the program. We want to thank you for watching right here on the Bama Central YouTube channel. Thank you for hanging out with us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on Amazon. We'll talk to you again tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.